Now, uh, the requirement is that this application is to be deployed on somewhere, some platform, okay, some platform, so that a user who is uh, who is using this application, right, he can access it. Okay. Now consider there are two things, right? So there will be some questions which you will ask. So application is developed by application developer. You need not to worry about that how the application is developed, but you need to know that the complete uh, flow of the application. Okay. So the requirement is that there is an application which is web application. It stores the data into the database, and you need to deploy it into some platform, right? So that this user, it can access this application. So you are appointed as an enterprise architect. We will talk about what is enterprise. So enterprise having a different definition, right? So enterprise, someone says a small project, someone say an organization, someone says a part of organization, someone says customer oriented. So enterprise has a different meaning. So here I'm taking a very simple, or you can consider that there is a startup company, which is company one, right? They have only one project and they appointed you as an enterprise architect, and they are saying we are having this application and this is the customer who wants to access this application. What will be your first question? So what you need to do, you need to design the you know complete workflow in such a way that this user can access this application. Okay, and application is currently in the company one environment, and it is to be deployed in such a way that user one can access it. What will be your first question related to design? Anyone can answer.
Um, if I'm correct, then probably it is the, so you said it's company one managed network, and the question would be, who are the users? Where are they located? Are they geographically from anywhere in the globe? They
Oh,
will try to locate.
good, good. So your first question is that how user will access this application? Whether
Yeah,
user will be having its own VPN or its own
yeah,
network, right?
network.
So,
Mm.
so first question is that how user will access. That is very good question because we don't know. For example, if it is a company based or they don't want to access the application outside the domain. So yes, that will be one question. Okay, question number two. Anyone? I would suggest that everyone should
Um,
participate.
yeah, um, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Others, if you may want to add.
What will be the traffic? How much will be the capacity of users to be serviced?
Okay, so you are saying that how many users? Okay, so it will be one user, two user, 100 user. That is a very valid question because you want to set up your environment accordingly, right? So that you can manage the scalability, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
so scalability is one. Okay.
Type of user authentication.
So that we can take it here, user access, how they are accessing geographically.
No,
Okay.
so I'm talking about the identity access.
Oh, you are talking about that how user will access.
Yeah, so whether it will be what type of multi-factor or what type of access they will be having to this
Access
application to
controls.
manage.
Okay, okay. So yeah, multi-factor authentication, or it is a username or password, right? Okay, very good. So I'm noting down the points. Very good. Anyone else?
And Raman, if I may add, I think from the application perspective, we just have to think through that applications should cater to um, different technologies. I mean, let's say, for example, users are using different other platforms, their own so interoperability between user and application hosting environment technology.
So technology, you are saying whether they are using Java and backend as a MySQL, right? So technology to develop the application. Okay, very good. Anything else?
So, yeah, sorry, Amit, go.
Yeah, the one would be how which other application this particular application interact in the enterprise? Is it a standalone application or it's a part of bigger ecosystem?
Okay, so you are saying type of app. Okay, good. Yeah.
So I'd ask what data and where they're going to manage the data. Right? So what they have
Yeah.
application
So
accessing on the data level.
okay. So what type of data? Data means
What
data
type of data? Where are they storing it? Are they going to move the
storage.
data along? So everything on data flow.
Okay. So how we manage the data storage. Okay.
Yep.
And how to access the data. Very good.
The
And the
other
next one,
piece is, sorry, I'd also ask what they're using to access it. So are they using their own machines? Is it from BYO? Those kind of things.
Okay. So we are using user
Yeah,
access. That is
user
how.
access. Yeah.
Yeah.
the other point, Raman, would be because it's a internet facing application. So then how we would actually place this application like behind, like to make it more secure from the data management standpoint.
Security. Very good.
Secured.
One other point should be the availability of the data, like load balanced, available from multiple, locally or globally load balanced using some kind of technology.
Okay. Load balancing. Okay.
Sorry, did we discuss whether it will be a cloud solution or it will be
Okay. On premises.
yeah,
Or
and yeah, and the
cloud.
choice of the choice of cloud platform, whether it's Microsoft, AWS, or Google, something else, because that will also impact the integration components. I think it's already
Correct.
discussed. If it's a part of a larger ecosystem, then integration is important. And the choice of platform, for example, the cloud platform, the integration components will be used accordingly.
Yes. Yes. So means ultimately means in a bigger picture means on premises or cloud based environment.
Yeah.
Right.
And the hosting of both the web application and database, whether it'll be on
On
the same
premises.
subnet, or it'll be synced, how the syncing will happen. Data sync, and then basically, we talked about the integration as well earlier, whether it'll be integrated with any other application, fetch data from other applications. We did discuss that, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So that is
Sorry, Raman, are we talking about writing down requirements for the
means if
system requirements? Yeah. Okay.
so it is basically, for example, you are appointed as a enterprise architect and you need to you have this requirement and you join the company and they are saying we are having one web application new project and user has to access. So as an enterprise architect, what question you will ask to the different stakeholders? So that is the one we are noting down.
Because we use those FPSs as called in systems engineering, functional performance specifications. So yeah, I'm just trying to relate whether this is.
Yes.
I mean, generally we'll write whether there are any certification requirements. Sorry. Yeah.
Certification requirement. Yeah. That that may not be the enterprise architect as a, you will not ask, you will mainly talking about the Means, what is the system? What are the system components?
Yeah. And Raman, one of the question would be to one of the business stakeholder who owns the application, basically, what is the availability like RTO and RPO?
So you are saying the stakeholders.
Yeah. So basically, the business stakeholder would tell us that what is uptime for the application, and accordingly, we'll have to prepare the DR or BCP for this application as well.
Yes, excellent.
Sorry, one more important point, Raman, here is thinking about the backup strategy for disaster recovery, like geo redundancies and these kind of things.
So disaster recovery. Cool. So see, for a small application, right, where I'm saying that it is to be deployed on some platform. So you have so many questions in your mind, right? And uh, you will keep those, into your notebook, and you will just talk to the relevant. So we will start with means first of all, uh, we will see that how company will realize that it needs an enterprise architect. Okay, then they will give you this project, right? So an enterprise is any collection of organizations that have common goals. Okay. So if we talk about the enterprise, see, we are learning about the enterprise architect, right? Our architecture. So first of all, we need to know what is enterprise. So far we say that entire organization is the enterprise, but it is not 100% true. An enterprise is any collection of organization that have the common goals. Okay. So entire enterprise or one or more specific area of interest. So if you are appointed as an enterprise architect, right? So it doesn't mean that, for example, you are appointed for a company like Microsoft. It doesn't mean that you will be appointed to manage the entire Microsoft. You are working on a uh, particular part of that project of Microsoft, which they had given. For example, they are saying you need to work on Azure for this project. Let's take some examples. For example, there is an organization, okay, and you need to design the entire organization system workflow. Then you are the then in that case, enterprise is entire organization for you. If you are working on a particular project, so you need to design for that particular project, right? End-to-end flow. For example, um, uh, like we have taken this company one, and they are saying this is project, and where application one is to be deployed into the production in such a way that uh, you know user can access it. So in that case, this entire project is your organize is enterprise for you. Third thing is, if you say a part of the project, for example, you need to only work on the data storage. Okay, so then it's a part of the project. So organization project, and then in project a particular component, right? Like database. So you need to you may be an enterprise architect who is managing the database end to end. Like you need to manage data, how the tables and everything is to be designed, and how the data will be flow between different components of your application. Okay. So, um, so that is what we call the enterprise. So I hope it is clear to you. Enterprise is any collection of organization that have common goal. So entire enterprise or one or more specific area of interest. So it may include multiple enterprises also. So for example, you are working for a company one, and company one is acquiring company two. So company one is one organization or one enterprise, and company two is the second enterprise. Now your job is that to migrate the data or to create a system design in such a way that the data is to be transferred from company one to company two. So in that case, it includes multiple enterprises. So you can work as a enterprise architect where you are dealing with the multiple enterprises. Now, so everything is in my notes. I'm just explaining if you see here. So EA is the discipline that enables organization to align the business strategies with the IT infrastructures and operations. It provides a structured approach for designing, planning, implementing, and governing the enterprise transformation. Okay. So let's break down this enterprise architecture and we will understand what is enterprise. So what TOGAF says, okay. So an enterprise is any collection of organization that has common goals. That is the TOGAF standard definition. Also, it is having one more definition, and enterprise is the highest level, typically a description of organization, and typically covers all missions and functions. In simple terms, enterprise can be a whole company, a department, a government agency, or even a collaboration between organizations, as long as they are having the common goal. So main thing is the common goal. Okay, so two companies, you want to transfer the data from company one to company two, where you are having multiple enterprises, but they have common goal. What is the common goal? The data is to be transferred from company one to company two. So consider that bank one has acquired bank two. So in India, Axis Bank is Citibank is acquired by Axis Bank. I worked on a project in Standard Bank long ago, and that is there was a bank in South Africa, and there was a another bank which is the Standard Bank, and the other one was the, I don't remember its name. I think Ned Bank or some bank was there. So they acquired that particular bank. Now, next thing is that whatever the data we were having there in bank one, we need to transfer that data into our standard bank. Now, question is how we can do that? Then enterprise architect comes into the picture. He will design. He needs to know the technology. If he doesn't know the technology, he cannot do a better design. Okay, so all of you are, technology oriented people, right? You are related to technology. So it will be very easy for you to understand this. So actually, there are always challenges. If bank one, they were using Sybase, and the one which we were using in the Standard Bank, that was Oracle. So totally different. So we have designed some, different format. Like at that time, it was 2007 and 2008, right? So we have designed one common solution. We have means files in the CSV format, and that CSV format, comma separated values, right? And then we have at the end of the day, we were taking the data from bank one in that CSV format. Then we have one ETL program, which is loading that program, converting it into Oracle. But someone has to do that, right? Someone has to design this. At that time, we were, normal engineers, but someone has to do that, right? Someone has designed, and we were working as a developer, right? So we don't know who has designed that, but they had given that work to us, and we were doing that. Okay. ETL work means ETL work will not be done by the enterprise architect. It will be done by the developers. But ETL is the extract, transform, and load. So in that case, you as an enterprise architect, you are not going to write the code, or you are not going to create the virtual machines. You are not going to set up the network, but you need to know what is happening. And how you will come to know that? If you are in touch with the technology. Anyone has any questions so far? All right. So if we say that if we consider a system that is an enterprise, do you agree? If we say there is a system and you need to provide that system solution, so then we call it as an enterprise. Okay, so enterprise can be a common goal. So system will have the common goal, right? So we can develop the solution for a system. So we are enterprise architect. Now, how many of you know who is Scrum Master?
Yep, it's one of the project management tool.
Yeah, means Scrum Master means who is the one basically who is managing or leader of the agile.
Entire project management space, right? Yeah.
Like a management to take care of or captures the progress of the activities, what is lined up for a week or for a month, and share the details.
Okay, good. Now, can I say that some of you are working as a solution architect also, right? So, can I say solution architect is enterprise architect?
No, for me, solution is more technical. I would say is a bit if enterprise architect is more strategical level, while solution is closer to the each of application. So enterprise see overall application as a whole and how it works together and so on. That what I understand at least.
Very good, excellent. See, if you are working as a solution architect, your scope is narrow as compared to the enterprise architect. So you are focusing on the specific project, specific system, specific product solution. For example, I'm a AWS developer or AWS solution architect. Right? You have a team, and your company is saying, okay, do one thing. If there is any technical problem, you just need to contact to the solution. Means if someone has technical problem, then contact to the solution architect. Okay. I'm unable to access the web application. I'm unable to access the application. I will go to the solution architect. Okay. I will ask, Hey, see, can you see what is the problem? So I will approach to solution architect, not to the enterprise architect, because enterprise architect has designed that application is accessible at port number 443. But solution architect is saying, okay, we will do that. So solution architect is the one who is implementing what enterprise architect is saying. So I just want, I think someone has mentioned they are solution architect here.
Yeah, it's myself, Raman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are a solution. So how do you get the requirement from your, someone has given you are not, you are designing, so you are solution architect in which field?
Well, there's a system called IFS. IFS is kind of like ERP system. So yeah, I'm in charge of that. So anything, any changes or any whatever that required to be changed in that system, whatever domain it is it in purchase order module or in HR module, is there some requirements, they will come to me, and then I'll have to propose something for that solution.
So were you the first person who has designed that solution, or is it someone else has designed and you are working on it?
uh Okay, so that solution already in place for some time already. I mean, at the first place when they decided to use this solution, I think the company hired another like third party, Capgemini, if I'm not mistaken, to to implement that. I mean, to perform, to design, and overall they have all the workshops and everything. I just joined last year actually, this organization, and yeah, just in charge uh, on that level during this operation stage.
Okay, thank you, thank you. That's a great input. And there is one more who is talking about that solution architect in cloud. I don't remember, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm working as a solution architect for Power Platform.
Yeah. So my question is to you that if you are a solution architect, right? How do you get the requirement?
Yeah, so requirements definitely come from the project team, like the sponsors, stakeholders, and all that. And then we discuss that requirement. Like first step is to, if it's a running project, then definitely don't we try to solutionize it, like how it can be implemented and what will be the tools and technologies required for that. So that comes under technical analysis space kind of, and then it
Hmm.
is the whole deadline of the project. If it's a bigger project or a short-term project, small project, everything decided accordingly.
Very good. So here you see that he mentioned the point deadline. So deadline is not it's not by the solution architect. It is through the enterprise architect. Okay. So I will just because if you think that what is the difference between solution architect and enterprise architect, I'm just trying to explain that. So it covers means enterprise architect. It will cover the entire organization, whereas the solution architect, it will be on a specific system or product solution. Okay. So enterprise architect will be more focuses on aligning the business strategies, processes, application, data, and technology. Okay. So if we talk about the solution architect, so that is basically more fits into the enterprise principles of our existing systems. If we talk about the enterprise architect, most of the time it provides a long-term roadmap and transformation and governance. So it will decide that, okay, for the networking, okay, this is a particular uh, spoke for the networking. If there is some issues, so we will contact to this team leader. We will contact to uh, database this particular leader. This is the team. So enterprise architect is basically designing the process and align the teams. And if we talk about the solution architect, it is more practical or technical. Okay, so it basically bridges the business requirement and the technical implementation. So enterprise architect is also technical, but not that much technical as you are a developer or scrum master or maybe the business analyst or the solution architect. Okay, so I hope you um, understand the difference between solution architect and business and enterprise architect. No?
Raman,
Yeah,
sorry, can I ask? So, with an enterprise architect, is the expectation that they're supposed to understand the length of breadth of all kind of solutions and systems running in an organization, in an enterprise? Is
absolutely.
that okay?
Absolutely. So this is the enterprise architect who is basically managing the length and breadth of the project. And we will talk about there are different strategies
Sure.
for that.
Okay.
Okay. So
Just a quick one here, Raman. So can we say there's a hierarchy that is followed, like the enterprise architect sees a bigger picture while the solution architect focuses on the fine details like project. For example, if an enterprise is running multiple projects, there'll be one enterprise architecture probably be looking at all of those projects, and there'll be separate solution architects for the individual projects. Can we say that something like that?
yes, exactly. So for enterprise architect, that he's the one who is basically looking for a bigger picture. Okay. And solution architect, it is more related to a part of that solution. For example, I want that application one is to be accessed by the user one. And here I want to implement cloud-based solution, which is Azure or AWS. So enterprise architect may not decide that it is a AWS cloud or Azure cloud or Google cloud. So what it will do, it will first see what are the licenses we are having, or we are tie up with Azure, or we are tie up with Microsoft, which is most cost effective, right? So business, see, ultimately business wants the saving, right? So now the enterprise architect is basically defining a roadmap that, so this will be most of the projects, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So it depends. So now they are saying, okay, we are having both the solution, means we can deploy the application on Azure based platform, or we can deploy the application on AWS also. We are having partnership with both of these suppliers. So now you will contact to, means as an architect, you will contact to the both SMEs, subject master experts. And at the end, you have decided, okay, we will go with Azure. So when you are saying, okay, I'll go with Azure, so what is the team in that organization who is taking this or who is working on Azure related projects? Then you will contact to that team and you will say, okay, our application is to be deployed scalable, and our application is to be always available. there is a SLA, etc. So in that case, you are basically you are contacting to the Azure team. Now in Azure team, now they need to create virtual machines. They need to create web app application, load balancer, maybe Azure DevOps they are using. So there they will appoint one solution architect. And that solution architect will only take care of that Azure related activities. So it means if DevOps application is in Azure, it is not giving the desired result, then it will be the solution architect means is to answer to enterprise architect why it is not working. If client is complaining, oh, I'm not able to access my website. So it will ask enterprise architect, and enterprise architect will ask to the solution architect why it is not working. So that technical solution will be provided by the solution architect. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah. So now we will talk about. So we understand a basic difference. So I will note it down, and I will share this with you also. All right. Okay. So here I will say enterprise architect, and here I will say solution architect. Okay. So if we talk about the scope, right? So in the scope, so it is whole organization, right? Whereas the solution architect, right? It is having a narrow scope. Narrow scope in the sense it has a scope for specific project. Okay. So for specific project or solution or product solution. Product means Azure, AWS, or if you are supporting some other application. So that product solution. Enterprise architect, it focuses on business strategies, processes. So process is you can say enterprise architect is process oriented instead of technology. Means he should be technical, but mostly he's working on the process, right? And what are the applications which are in place? He's not writing the code, but he's managing that data and technology. Right? So now solution architect, what he will do? Tell me. So he will make
Particular
sure that
technology. Right?
yes, solution fits to that enterprise architect principles, right? So he is basically ensuring that solution should fit into enterprise architecture principle. Okay. And if you are an enterprise architect, right, you are looking for a long-term roadmap. So long-term. So if you are providing a solution, you are not saying, okay, this is maybe this is for the time being solution. No, it should be a long-running solution. So long-term roadmap for transformation and the governance. What is the governance means? Anyone can means put a highlight on this. What is governance means?
The life cycle of the solution means management of who's responsible for running it, operations, maintenance, uh, end-to-end life cycle.
Right? So you can say who is the governing body, right? Means who is basically giving the approval,
Proving, yeah.
right? So those who are, for example, you are saying, okay, I will put this into my solution is live today. So in that case, can say who is giving the approval. So that person has that ADM has given the approval, business analyst has given the approval. So that is a governing body. And who is the stakeholder?
Business is a stakeholder, the sponsor, business stakeholder. And we have RSAI metrics, right? Who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and implementer. I think the governing body will actually look at the RSAI metrics and accordingly see if everything is aligned or not.
Okay. So, so you are saying stakeholder is.
I mean,
Can
business
you
is the
give
main
one
stakeholder,
example?
and then
Give a
yeah.
simple example.
Simple example is like who probably, let's say it's a finance application.
Mm-hmm.
So the finance department, head of the finance department, it would be like the business stakeholder.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was someone from ITN who is overall managing the IT development and project will be IT stakeholders. I mean, we'll have sub departments as well within the IT.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would
No, these are
also.
the teams you are saying, right? These are the
Mhm,
teams.
mhm.
Mm, so stakeholder, we say that the person who get impacted, right?
Correct. Who is interested in the project will get impacted. Correct.
Yes, yes. So it will be the team or maybe business. So for example, we are using ServiceNow, okay, with one of the ticketing tool. So you are having one solution that our file will be pushed into the ServiceNow and we will onboard those new employees or we will update the data. So in that case, whatever data we are, pushing it into the ServiceNow and that person is not able to get uh, that means, for example, there is a failure in that upload. So who get impacted? Team one. Who get impacted? Business one. Who get impacted? Business two. Who get impacted? Uh, the maybe if it is a patching kind of thing, right? So who get impacted? Whosoever get impacted is a stakeholder.
And stakeholder, absolutely. Yep.
Right. So now the solution. So it is the one who is basically, uh, bridging the gap between uh, business requirement and technical implementation, whereas EA is the one who is basically talking about the roadmap of the transformation. So here it is the you can say business requirement plus technical implementation. Okay. Actually, that is very commonly asked question that um, that what is means I am working as a solution architect. So why I'm not an enterprise architect? I'm also designing a system. So you are a you are a solution architect, you are a system administrator, but you are not enterprise architect because if you are working as a system administrator, that system administrator can be a solution architect. You can say, okay, because he's providing the solution if a user is not created in the Linux environment. So you can say, oh, that is contact to system administrator. My groups are not having the access, etc. Now tell me, who will decide the blueprint of the complete project? Solution architect or enterprise architect?
Enterprise architect.
Very good. So blueprint will be decided by the enterprise architect. And who will provide the practical solution. Solution architect, right?
Solution architect.
The solution.
Because practical solution. Now tell me, who will decide the guidelines, governance, and standards?
Enterprise architect.
Very good. So it is not solution architect. So standards, guidelines, and governance. So that will be decided by the enterprise architect. Now tell me, who will decide what is the right technology, what is the integration, what is the pattern? Is it enterprise or solution architect?
With the solution
Solution
architect.
Technology will be decided by the solution architect.
Solutions only.
Right. Now, guys, just 1 second. Someone is on the door. Right. So the technology standards will be defined by the enterprise architect, but the technology is decided by the solution architect. Pattern, design pattern, integration. Okay. So if you say my Azure application will be connected to some other tool like ServiceNow, or it will be connected to some ITSM tools. So that whether it will be ServiceNow means enterprise, it is under the supervision of the enterprise architect only, but it will be decided by the solution architect. He can explain that this is more effective. Now tell me, who will provide the solution for scalable, secure, and cost effective?
Enterprise architect.
Application should be scalable, so it will be solution architect, right? Because application
okay.
Scalability will be decided by the how my application can be scalable. So that will be decided by the solution architect. How my application will be secure. How it will be cost effective. See, for example, you are using cloud technology. And in cloud technology, you are saying my monthly budget is $1,000. Your business is saying we will pay only $1,000 for this customer. It should not exceed. Now, who will decide? Not enterprise architect. Enterprise architect should work with the solution architect by saying that, okay, this is the budget and all the resources on your cloud environment should be stopped or should not be in use, right? If it is crossing that particular amount, or you should set means now this requirement is given to you as a solution architect. Then you are deciding that okay, I need to set the budget. I need to means I should get notified some automation. So everything will be decided by the solution architect. Now, who will decide that IT investment supports the business goal? IT investment
supporting the business goal.
Enterprise. Yes. So you need to see that, for example, I'm saying I'm going to go with Azure or AWS. Then whether they are supporting or not, whether this application will be supported or not, this cloud-based environment. So not only that, you are creating virtual environment, database, right? So you are saying, okay, their data is to be secured, regular backups, etc. So if there is a team, those who are saying, no, no, we are having this restriction, that restriction, you cannot access the database. So it is not meeting with your, business goals. Then you are the one as an enterprise architect who is basically deciding that we will go with that IT investment or not. All right. Now, tell me, that, for example, uh, or you can tell in that way, which will have long term, right, strategy level. Is it enterprise architect or solution architect?
Enterprise architect.
Yeah, we have already.
So enterprise architect mostly because he's working on a project, big project. So in project, we are having 3 years, 5 years, that strategy level. But solution architect, once the project is deadline is finished and it is a part of that project, so that is when mostly it is 6 months, 10 months, or maybe 2 years, right? So so time is a long term, we can say, right? And mostly it is 3 to 5 years. Short term, we call it 1 year. Okay, so that is the one what we call uh, strategy level. Okay, so they create a roadmap in by thinking, okay, next 5 years what will happen. So no solution. This is medium. So they are not once the project is delivered, their part is delivered. They are saying, okay, this is for the ongoing support. There is a warranty period after that, ongoing support. So medium, that is mostly we take it 6 to 24 months is the standard one. Who should be TOGAF certified?
I feel both.
Mm.
Everyone, yeah.
Everybody should be.
No,
At least
but
you should be.
if you are TOGAF certified, then you are enterprise architect. Okay, so TOGAF certified, and it is mainly
Solution
technology
specific.
certified. Like you are in AWS, then AWS solution architect, associate, professional, sysadmin. So they are more in that. Okay. Uh, so if in short, if I say uh, that enterprise architecture or architect, it sets the big picture of the strategy, whereas solution architect, it designs the specific solution within that strategy. Okay, so I will share this document also with you.
So Raman, if you look at this, it looks like from a solution architecture perspective, they're supposed to be more technical, right? Means the enterprise
Yeah,
is not
so
then.
solution architect is more technical. Yes.
But as an enterprise architect, you do need to get understand technology and stuff, right? Because then,
Yeah. So,
say
for
for the
example, I'll give you
yeah.
one example. So the one which we were discussing this part. So here, what I have mentioned, that you need to design. You need to design. So when it comes for the designing, not the technical design, means technical part should be there, but you need to design end-to-end flow of your project. Then you are enterprise architect. So for example, this application, application development is not a application design, application technical designs are not part of enterprise architect. Enterprise architect will say, okay, there will be one application and that application will be deployed on some environment, and that application should serve these objectives. Okay, maybe email application, they can see the email. So that objective for that enterprise, actually enterprise architect does not work alone. It works with the different teams. So for example, what will be the business case, means what is the business requirement? So who knows the business requirement? Who knows the business requirement in the company or in a project?
EA, enterprise
Business
architect.
analyst. No, yeah, means ultimately it should be clear to the enterprise, but from to whom it will contact? Business analyst.
Business user, yeah.
So business analyst, okay, tell me who is the product owner?
Someone from the business stakeholders.
Yeah, so it will be the client. Client is called business owner. Who is product manager? Sorry, product owner is called the
The
client.
system owner. Okay.
Yes. And who is the manager, product manager?
Again,
Product
someone from
manager.
the business.
Yes, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Again, someone from the business will be the product
Yes,
manager. They can also be called sponsor as well.
yes. So product, see, for example, I'm a client and you are you need to deliver my business requirement. So maybe I'm very busy person, so I'll say, okay, if you have something related to business, you contact to person X. He's from my account, is my company. So he's the business means CEO is not always talking to all, is not attending all the meetings, right? So they have different representatives. So those representatives you can call as a manager. Now tell me, business analyst is on the client side or IT team side?
Client side.
Client side.
Mm,
So they
most,
need to get business requirements and translate it to the IT team, right?
yes. So it is in IT team mostly.
Okay.
I don't see ever in my career that they are from the business, means on the client side. They are within your company.
Oh yeah,
So
yes. Correct. Yeah, correct. So IT
yes,
team will appoint one business analyst to understand all the requirements from business.
right,
Correct.
right,
Okay.
right, right. So he's the one who knows everything about the business. Okay,
Right.
so for example, you are a database administrator, and you are saying, okay, this is the report. So who is seeing the report? Business analyst. And business analyst say, hey, I have found this particular data because I worked on a banking project. So business analyst was, always they are hitting our head because we were working as a database developer at that time. Hey, this data I see this has this value, why it is so. Now we were developer, we were more technical, so our, we were just simply saying that we are processing that data. So business analyst is always working on a data, he's a data engineer. So who is analyzing the data, who is basically thinking about the, means how we can present the data to client. So client will not see that who is developing the application, client wants to see the result. So the outcome comes from the different teams. Now tell me that is it enterprise architect who needs to work with the business analyst? Absolutely, right? Because
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know what is the requirement, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
he needs to know that, okay, if there is a data discrepancy, right? Means the client is saying, oh, my data, my, you know, withdraw amount is more than my existing balance. So in that case, maybe enterprise architect will not answer that question, but enterprise architect will contact to the business analyst, and business analyst will contact to the that team. Okay. Now tell me who is ADM, account
ADM.
delivery manager,
Uh-huh. Account delivery manager would be
client
the
side or IT team side?
IT team side.
No, client side, that will
Clients at the
generally
end.
accounts, they generally manage clients, yeah, accounts manager.
Uh,
Hmm.
That's
No, no, it is
No, no,
on
no.
IT team
So
side.
the
IT.
It is IT team side. For example, you are working on a project one, okay, or you are working on a AWS solution architect, right? And this project is this project is managed by a bigger means you are a part of the project, but the entire project is managed by the account delivery. Account delivery means I am representing that account. So client will ask that question directly to me. if I'm an ADM, then account team will means I'm the account team. I'm from the account team. Account team means on the behalf of client. So you are saying correctly that it is on the client side, but it is not client, means it is for the client, because see, a client is not talking to each and every individual. So what it will do, it will ask the ADM, hey ADM, my application is down. So ADM will call that meeting, emergency meeting, and it will say, oh, there is something, wrong. The data center is down. So ADM is the one who is basically, calling all that stakeholders into one meeting and saying that, hey, see, there is some problem, because ADM is behaving like a client only. Okay. So ADM is the account delivery manager, and it is on the IT company side. And now tell me that is it beneficial for enterprise architect that ADM is to contact with the ADM?
Sorry,
Means,
ADM is to contact what? Sorry, you would.
no. Enterprise architect. So do he need to contact with ADM at any point of time?
Of course, I think like both business analyst and ADM must be always giving updates to
Always,
the
yes. Required. Whosoever is come in that project, whether it is minor or major, having minor or major role, so they are definitely be the part of, means whosoever comes in that system design or enterprise. So enterprise architect should know that this is the person, right? For example, application is down. So the ADM is calling enterprise architect, and he's saying, hey, see what is happening. So ADM is bigger role than the enterprise architect. Okay. So because he is the one who is appointing an enterprise architect, okay, for their projects.
Makes sense.
All right. So far it's a very your participation is very good. Okay. So now this TOGAF definition, you just need to walk through this once, right? And we have already discussed. And we have discussed enterprise architect is the blueprint of the organization, showing how the business goal, processes, data, technology can fit together and evolve. So key component is the business architecture. So it defines the strategic goals, capabilities, processes, and organization structure, right? Application. So now we will talk about the different goals for the enterprise architecture. So what is the goal means? See, if you are appointed as a uh, enterprise architect for this particular application, so you need to achieve this. You need to ask some questions. You are saying, hey, what is the business for this? Why you have developed this application? Okay, what is the business for this? So um, they are saying, okay, we have the you know we have this business because we got a project from this client, and that client is basically looking for this solution, and we are providing that solution through this application. Okay, so business requirement should be clear first of all. Then you are asking that, okay, um, so we call something called domain. So domain uh, for example, if I say domain of networking, right? So domain indicates that how many virtual machines, how many devices which are into that particular domain. Same way, here we call it architecture domain. And here we need to know the business, we need to know the data architecture, we need to know the application architecture, we need to know the technology architecture. So this, as an enterprise architect, you need to know that. And this is called the architecture domain. Architecture domain. Or these four terms we call BDAT. Okay, again, this is for that purpose only, means exam purpose also. So you need to know these. So whatever is required for the exam point of view, I will highlight that also. So here you can see this you need to know. Now, let me ask a question. So governance, okay, governance and business processes and purpose of the business. Is it relevant to enterprise architect?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So this is required. So these, because he has to provide the solution. And when you are providing the solution, you need to know what is the business strategy. You need to know who is the governance body. You need to know what is the organization. You need to know what are the business processes. Because if you are providing a solution and your business does not allow that, for example, you are saying, I will spend $100,000. So business says, no. We have a budget of $50,000, and you are designing something which is for the which is for the $100,000. That will not work. So you need to understand what is the business, strategies, right, etc. So this is one thing. Now, tell me that if we talk about the means, for example, you are designing a program, right? You are designing a project. So in that project, tell me one more thing. How enterprise architect understand these things, that this is the business strategy? To whom that team enterprise architect to contact? Business analyst,
Business
like
analyst.
ADM, or the
ADM.
different teams also. For example, business analyst is giving that this is our data, this is our business, right? And he does not know who is the governing body uh, for means he's not, he may know, but he can ask that you can contact to ADM, because all the projects are implemented with his or her approval, right? So in that case, you need to contact to the governing body. You need to understand who is the business owner, right? You need to know that what is the existing. See, if something is existing, you can reuse that also. And what are the process you are using? You are using agile process. You are using waterfall methodology. You are using DevOps process. Are you managing the lean methodology for waste management, etc.? So all these things should be known to the enterprise architect. Right. So that is related to the business architecture. Second thing, now tell me that you are having a project, and uh, you find that there is a consider there is a banking application, and in banking application there is a balance field for a customer, and that balance field should not be less than zero. Okay, but you see some of the records, they are having negative balance, like minus 800,000, right? So you see this. Who see this? Customer may see that, or maybe someone, business analyst, they have seen that. Now tell me that this logical way, means this is one of the use case which is saying that balance should not be less than 0. But there is some data which is uh, less than 0. Okay, this is one thing. So I'm talking about the data now. Okay, so this data, so uh, is enterprise architect should be involved in this kind of problem?
I think it's a purely solution based use case, and so it has to be solution architect. Yeah.
And solution architect is working on whatever enterprise architect mentioned. Okay, even though this is not a solution by the enterprise architect, but enterprise architect is to be involved because it is something like that, head of the family, right? So your son or daughter, right? They are not getting good scores in the exam, right? So you are not going to write the exam for them, but you need to know that what I need to do. Means okay, he scored less in mathematics. Okay, how it can be improved, how it can be next time it will be better. So even though you don't know that what how he or she will study, right? But you know that next time it should not be like that. So data is also, even though his enterprise architect is not going to uh, involve in development of that data or application, but he should be responsible for that data's designing. Now tell me, second use case. If you are having 100 virtual machines, okay, or maybe 100 virtual machines and 20 physical servers. So for that project, where enterprise architect is basically going to design the solution. So it should be under the knowledge of enterprise architect. So they are saying, okay, we are having 100 virtual machines, 20 physical servers. So what do you think this and how they are connected? How they are connected also, their domain, their IP address range, etc. So in that case, is this knowledge of this architecture is required by the EA or not?
I think it does because one of the reasons is because it involves cost. That's one thing. Probably it will affect the cost. Budgeting is the issue. So that was my definitely number two is EA will definitely be involved. But if I just go back to use case number one is what I think is it depends the scope of the issue or the use case. If it's a broader issue, like if it broadly affects the project timeline or budgeting in a way, then definitely EA will be involved in that. But if it's a smaller change, like for example, changing the field type or something like that, which is more technical and doesn't cause any scope creep, like if there is no
Right.
any
Right.
change in the scope of the project, then I think EA should not be directly involved. Although he's definitely overseeing the whole thing, that's fine. He'll be somehow will be directly or indirectly involved, but it's more of a solution architect's
Yes. Yes.
jurisdiction rather than EA.
So this will
Number
be
two,
done by the solution architect. That is correctly said.
yeah, but number two is definitely EA.
Yes. So this is yes. Right. So solution architect is going to provide the solution because enterprise architect does not know that what is how to create virtual machine, maybe, okay, or how to automate the virtual machine. But when they are providing the solution, there is a problem, there is a change record, and there is a proof which says that there was one problem occurred and it was resolved by using this change record. So that thing should be in the knowledge of enterprise architect. Otherwise, if tomorrow something happens and he says, customer say, oh, this was happened earlier also, that problem is not resolved. So whatever is, in the project happening, everything is under the knowledge of the enterprise architect, whatever design he has developed. So this is required because to save the, how to manage the cost. Now, third, tell me that, for example, there are different applications. Application one means for to provide the solution, okay, and application two. So there are two applications are to be developed, and there should be a blueprint for that, right? And how it will be deployed, how it is meaningful. These applications are meaningful for business processes. Is enterprise architect is required to involve?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Because he needs to know, he needs to tell to the solution architect, hey, we need to develop this application. We need to have this application one is sending the data, application two will be receiving the data. And there is a relationship because we need this because there are two different environments client is having. So that is the business requirement. Now, fourth, for example, um, you you want to deploy the solution on cloud or on-premises environment, and what will be the hardware capacity and software capacity. Okay, and what is the support model? 24/7, 24/5, right, to the business, and what type of applications we are supporting. Is it a part of enterprise architect role?
I think both should be involved. EA will be looking again at the bigger picture support point of view. Like what will be the support model? Will be hypercare warranty period, and then later managed services will take over. These kind of things, I think, comes under EA domain.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are absolutely right. So in these four use cases we have discussed, first one actually it was earlier. So this is one, the one which I have discussed for the business. So that is called business, not this one. This one is there is one business strategies. Now this one is data architecture, where you are basically talking about the organization, logical and physical data sets, right? Then application blueprints and all this comes under the application architecture, and where you decide the cloud-based environment, on-premises environment, etc. That comes under the technology, and we call it BDAT. Okay, so now it will be easy you to understand these TOGAF terminologies. So business architect, it defines the strategic goals, capability, processes, and organizational structure. Application architecture, it defines, specifies the software applications, their functions and interactions. Data architecture, so this is basically manages the data sets, flow and governance. Technology, it covers the hardware, network, clouds, and enabling platform. Okay, so what is the primary goal? Now you understand, right? So now we will discuss this in detail. Okay, so you can walk through this this thing because we have discussed, and we are discussing about this TOGAF. right, which is following this standard, international standard of architecture descriptions. There are some other, things which you can do, Zestman framework, EFAF, and there are some other platform, but these are mostly not that much popular as TOGAF. Right. So we understood that now enterprise, a collection of organization with shared goal, and architecture. Architecture is the structure of system, component, relationship, and principle. Right. So architecture, we call it like two system, how they can communicate to each other, whether they need to communicate or not. So that is the enterprise architecture. It is a discipline of to align business and IT via structure, design, and governance. Okay. So these sources are basically from the TOGAF. Anyone has any question till now? All right. So now we will talk about this architecture domain now in detail. Then we will see one example. Okay. So business. So BDAT is the model refers to the four key architecture domains used in TOGAF to describe the different aspects of the enterprise. So these domains typically address across architecture development model. So here ADM is different. Okay, don't get confused with this ADM and the ADM role. So here in TOGAF, if you use this term ADM, so that represents architecture development method. Okay. So these are the four which we have discussed. So first one is the business architecture. The purpose is to define the business strategies, governance, organization, and key business processes of the enterprise. What are the things? Area for the business goals and objective, business capability, everything related to business only, right? Organizational structure and rules. So that also you need to know. See, organizational structure and role. What does it mean? It means that, say an example, um, I need to know that this is Raman, right? And this is Raman, and who is manager of Raman. So that if Raman is not doing well, is not delivering the, something on time, I need to contact to his manager. Okay. So you need to know your business, where it stands. So for example, there is a CEO, then CTO, then so on, right? So this is the organization structure. Okay. So where I'm reporting to, for example, I am enterprise architect, I am reporting to CTO, I am reporting to some other, right? So your role and whosoever is the, parties which are involved, so their roles and organization structure you need to know. You need to know the business process and workflow. You need to know the business services offered to the customer or internally, right? So you need to know that, okay, this is our offering. Okay, we use the term offering. So this is our offering. For example, we provide notification through email, not through SMS. So customer says, "Oh, I did not receive the SMS." Yeah, because we are not providing it. So what services you are providing? So this comes under the business architecture. So in nutshell, so business architecture sets of direction and requirements that drive the other architecture domain. Okay, so once this is done, then you can talk to the data architectures. So step number one, that we need to step number one, we need to know what we need to do. Who is the impacted user? What is the scope of this project? Why we need to create, etc. Now let's talk about the data architecture. So as I mentioned, that it describes the structure of the organization data assets, including conceptual, logical, and physical representation, right? So whether your data is in form of tables, means database tables, or whether it is conceptual. So you are saying, okay, there is a role, solution architect, but solution architect is not a person, right? It's not a tangible thing. So solution architect is a role, and you say my team name is ABC team. So ABC is a concept, right? Or you can say this team is ABC team, right? So those things also you need to know. So you are saying, okay, this application is not working. Let me contact to ABC team. So ABC is what? So see, you are working in organization. Your project name, your team name is something different, right? Different terms. Physical representation, as I mentioned, your virtual machine, physical, right? So you are saying, okay, we need to support a customer in US. We are in Australia. Then, do we have data center at or our company's data center in US? If yes, then okay, let's utilize that because it will give the better performance, lower latency to the customer application, right? So all that is managed during this data. So means business architecture, data architecture. So these are managed. These are the consideration, for the enterprise architect before. And now tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. Business architecture, data architecture, application architecture. We will, means I have already explained, but we will discuss in this notes. And infrastructure architecture. This is before starting the project, or maybe in between or after.
It will be during.
Before the project, we need to
It should be before, right? That's because, see, first you architect, then you will apply it. Most, see, that is a different thing that, once you design the system and after that there are some changes are required. That is a different thing. But architecture should be before only. So the scope is before creating before we create a solution. Okay. So this thing, the case study which I have shown you the project, and you give me a lot of question that I will ask. So that question you will ask in this domains, architecture domain only, where you are asking what is the business requirement, how the data will be stored, how many virtual machines I have, how the network, how many offices we are having. So this customer to whom I need to contact. So all these questions you are asking the before the solution is to be provided. Okay. Now, purpose is so this one data architecture, right? So you are defining the data models, you are defining the entities and their relationship, data governance and the stewardship, and the metadata, master data management, right? So all these things, whatever is related to the data. So data architecture ensures that right data is available, well structured, and properly managed to support the business and application. Now, next is the application. As I mentioned, blueprint of for the individual application to be deployed, interaction, relationship between the business processes. So we will basically main focusing on what is the application portfolio and life cycle, application integration and the interfaces. Means you need to create application API. API is what? Means microservices and API. These are the development side where you can just you know uh, access your application programmatically. So APIs, you need what are the functional roles of the, means why what that application 1, what is doing, application 2, what it is doing, how applications support business capabilities, and interoperability and reusability. So application architecture ensure that the systems are aligned with the business needs, modular and integrated for agility and efficiency. Okay. Now, if we talk about the technology, so that is also known as the infrastructure architecture. Okay. So this describes the digital architecture and the logical software and hardware infrastructure requires to support the deployment of business data and application services. So these are the key focus area like servers, network, storage, right, technology standards and platform, middleware, operating system, runtime environment, virtualization, containerization, hosting, infrastructure security, and performance. Right? Technology architecture defines the technical capability and standards that enable all other domains of function efficiently. Okay, and these are the some highlights. So I would say that you can go through this one by yourself because we are talking this repeatedly, right? So here, if I show you, this is the means it will be the step by step. You first need to know what is the business. This is something which is a card, so you can just take a look directly. Business architecture. What are the things? Data architecture, applications. Okay. So yeah, so this is fine. Okay. Uh, we'll take some break. Huh? So we'll take some 20 minutes break. After that, we will be continue discussion on this domain part. Hmm? So let's take 20 minutes break.
Sorry, Raman, can I ask a quick question here? All these architectures that you described here,
Mhm.
are they about the current state of the architecture, like before starting the ADM phases, or what exactly we focus when we talk about those four architecture domains, like the current state of the enterprise, or it's a future state like
Yes,
after the implementation is.
yes. So see here, when you are aligned to some project, right? So you are basically asking these questions to the organization. So you are saying what we are having currently in the organization. So this is the current business. What is the business requirement, right? What is the how the data will be stored? What are the data assets? What are the data management resources? Then okay, we will design this application. So actually, you are defining a scope of your system with the with these domains, right? And here, few things are already there. Few things you need to develop. For example, virtual machines are already there. So you can say, okay, we will use that, but we need some more hardware or some more virtual machines. So it is, you can say, it is basically defining the scope of your project, these domains. So in the scope, you are just noting down what currently we are having and how we can define the solution. And if tomorrow in future, if something is required, so first we need to know what we are having currently in our organization and how we can, add or modify the things into our project or system design.
So can it be called a discovery phase of the project?
Yes, yeah, discovery, and we in TOGAF we call it scope of the project,
Yeah. Okay. Thank
before
you.
scope of the project. Yes. So guys, I will run one timer. We will meet after 20.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, I'm back.
Great.
So
Yeah.
so I want to show you this diagram, right? So let us talk about this diagram. Okay. So here actually I'm trying to visualize that each architecture domain can be described, means how it can be described and visualized using this diagram. So here you can see business architecture. So in business architecture, what I'm saying, business capability map. So these things you will be, means technically, or you can say the terminologies which you are using for defining this. So now, uh, what does that enterprise architecture means the architect who is basically looking for? For instances, the business architecture, it can be described within a business capability map, okay, which uh, defines what the business does, what is the value maps string, what is the organization map. That shows the main, organizational units and the partners. So these are the this is basically the business architect. So here you can see business capability map. What is the strategy? What are the core component? What is the supporting? Means we are supporting financial management, IT management, right, etc. And the in the value you can see the means value stream map, right? So there are different like data partition, and what is the communication network, etc. So that is under the value stream map, and in the organization, how the organization means architecture. So that will be under this business architecture domain. Right? Now the um, next one is the data architecture. So this is basically uh, if we talk about this one, so this is basically describe that what are the uh, production managements. You are basically dissemination of that data. Dissemination means that what are the different components of your data, like this data belongs to um, this data belongs to this particular, means if we talk about in the form of table, right, their logical entities, how they are connected to the uh, logical entities, how they are connected to the physical entities, right, and how the application uh, component works, what are the data entities, right, and business function metrics. So that basically depicts the relationship between the data entities and the business functions, right? So, so that is basically the purpose of this data architecture. Now, if we talk about the application architecture, so in application architecture, we can, with the application portfolio catalog, which is basically a list of all the application in the enterprise or within an application uh, communication diagram. So you see this diagram, right? So whatever we are looking for, that kind of applications, and then we are having the communication interface like CRM application under HR organization, ERP application is under CRM, and other applications, these are not in any of this organization. Application is there, but it is not part of that. So that basically we define the uh, application architecture. So this comes under the application architecture. Now, if we talk about the technology architecture, so here technology portfolio catalog. So this portfolio catalog, it basically tells the what is the workflow, whether it is a whether it is a automation, whether it is a some other type of tool, like for example, BI tool, right? And then further decomposition of this, technology, right? We are having application connector, event triggers, etc. And then we are having different locations and the uh, locations and the diagram is okay. This office is here. These machines are available here. Okay. So these are the main one, but there are there could be many, which is there are many platforms, or you can say artifacts. Artifacts means the actual things, right? Which are basically you can use with the domain. But these are main important for the TOGAF certification point of view. Now, I will take a very simple example where you can just, or where I will show you that what is the uh, what is the business, what is the data, what is application, and what is the technology. Okay, so we'll take one example of the order to cash. Order to cash. So this is one application, and here the requirement is that you should take the order. Okay, once the order is in place, then you need to fulfill the order. Then you need to deliver the order. Then invoice is to be created, and at the end you need to take the cash. Now tell me in which domain it exists: business, data, or technology?
Business.
So this is business. Very good. So because at this moment we are not talking about anything which is related to technology or data or anything. Now we are having here purchase order, for example. Okay, so we will have the purchase order, and we will have the order confirmation. Then we are having means we need to order some transport, for example. And we are having the invoice, and at the end there is a transaction. Now tell me whether it is business, data, application, or technology.
Application only.
This is the data probably.
Yes, this is data.
Yeah.
This is data, because we are storing the data for purchase order, application order, all this. Right. Now, next, I will have the something which we call the actually your point was valid, which comes into your mind that it is an application. But here we are talking about the how much purchase order, whether that is confirmed or not. So we are talking about the data only. Yes, in the back end there will be some application, but here we are first talking about the business process. So the customer orders that, right, and then there will be a transport, and then it will create the invoice and do the transaction. So we are here mainly talking about the data only, right? So now next one, what I'll say. Okay, so I will say here that so this one, okay, this one. Now I will say here enterprise resource planning. Enterprise resource planning. Little bit difficult, but once you are having that data, right? So you are saying, okay, we will have the purchase data, order confirmation. So this will be the flow of our application. So now how it will be achieved, that is called enterprise resource planning. Okay. So who will take the order? Okay, some application. How the order will be confirmed? Some application. So this comes under the application architecture domain. Now you have decided that it will be deployed on the cloud. So what is this business, data, application, or technology?
Last one, technology.
Technology. Right? So this way you can differentiate between, the, if there is any requirement, so you can divide them into different categories of domain, which is business, data, application, and technology. So let us see what is in our notes. So this is done. Okay, one example. So business objective case study for Foodie Fast application, a food delivery platform. So business objective is that expand the Foodie Fast reach, faster delivery, customer personalization, and scalable operations. So this is the business objective. So now scenario is that Foodie Fast wants to offer 15 minutes express delivery and expand to new cities. So that is the business requirement. So here the there are different means I have divided this into different categories. First one is the uh, business capabilities. So delivery manager, vendor, onboarding, customer services, right? So these things you are defining a scope for your business, right? So you are saying what are the different processes that will be the order placement, rider assignment, complaint handling, value streams. You are saying order to customer order to delivery, partner restaurant, onboarding, information concepts like customer order. So these all means whatever I have shown you in that previous diagram. So I have divided this into this different uh, categories on the basis of this, on the basis of this use case. Organization unit, we are having customer operation, logistic, technology, and partner management. So this is what our business requirement. So business goals like reduce the delivery time and expand the market share are formally mapped to the business capability and business processes. This becomes the driver of data, applications, and technology. So this is the trigger point. Right? Now, after that, we will talk about the data. To support the express delivery, Foodie Fast needs real-time tracking and predictive order allocation. Right. So if you are saying 15-minute delivery, if there is a heavy traffic jam, or if there is bad weather, so in that case, can we deliver in 15 minutes? Right. So those things are basically also considered as the use case. Right. So now, so what we are defining. So I'm just taking one case, right? Use case. So I'm defining these values on the basis of of that application. But these values can be changed during the different case studies. So here you can see the information. Second. Yeah. So information objects. So we will be having order, we will be having delivery time, we are having. So these information we need. What are the data objects? We will have tables. Under that table where we are storing the data like orders, users, locations, resource, restaurant, average preparation time, etc. We are also having the data management, data quality checks, right? Some compliance, retention policies, and data resources. We are using SQL database, data lake, etc. So, your data is to be well structured into your RDBMS, right? So well structured and integrated data enables AI based delivery routing, customer personalizations, and compliance with the data regulations, right? So here, when we are talking about these objects, so these belongs to the data owners, right? So in case if you have any question, you can interrupt me anytime. There is.
Yeah, Raman, I have a question. Well, during the business architecture phase, you mentioned value streams, right? So value stream analysis, is it only done during the business architecture development or whatever you call it? Only it is because value streams are all about how the value can be delivered to the customer, how to make it or streamline it so that the better thing can be delivered to the customer. But is it only required or it is only relevant for the business architecture, or it is somehow relevant to other types of architectures as well, like application as well? Or it's purely the value stream is purely relevant from the business point of view, like how the business value can be delivered?
Yeah. So basically, value stream, let's first understand what it means. It means that whatever we are offering to the customer, right? That is the value stream. So how customer will be get beneficial? For example, you are saying that customer is saying that I need 15 minutes delivery. So that 15 minutes delivery is value streams, or you can say customer is it needs that there should be all the restaurant in my city, so they are connected to my application. So value stream is the part of the business architecture only, because uh, means if you say that value stream for your web application, ultimately it will go to the customer only, right? So whatever the customer is getting benefited with our application, so that comes under the value stream in the business arguments. It may be if you can define value stream because it's a term, right? So that you can define anywhere, but ultimately it comes from the business only. So I would say that it will be in the business architecture only. All right.
Raman, I have a question here.
Mhm.
Sorry, just going a bit back. So we saw that 4 types of architecture: business, data, application, and technology. And then there were a couple of graph that were presented in that, like data dissemination diagram, business capabilities diagram, and all those. Sorry, I'm just going to another page. Uh, but is it like more like a deliverable from enterprise architecture to
This
the,
one, right?
sorry?
This diagram you're talking about, is it?
Yeah, all these diagrams.
Mhm.
So in a mature organization, basically enterprise architect is expected to create, manage, and maintain these this information which can be used across organization. Is that understanding correct? Or
Yes, yes, that is required. If you are and see, it depends at what is the organization. If it is CMM level 5, right, which they need to comply to CMM level 5, Fortune 500 companies, they are adhere to this process. They cannot skip out this. So if you are an enterprise architect in that companies, right? So in that case, you need to follow these instructions. You need to make your means, that managers or these enterprise architect, they are mostly working on the diagrams only. They need to collect the data, they need to collect the information related to the different domains, that how ultimately, because they need to know almost everything in and out related to their project or their enterprise. So
right.
these things are basically required. Like they are saying that we need a business capability. We need to know that what is the business planning, what is the business process, what are the different strategy. They need to know what is how the data will be arranged, right? So ideally, yes, they need to follow this.
Right, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we were on this example, right? So right. So application strategy. Now you need to create a customer app, restaurant app, delivery app, some other apps. So for that, which technology you are using? What is the, it's like you are using React, you are using Angular, you are using REST APIs, right? What are the functions? What are different domain means you are using, and the application services, like you can track the order, you can update them. So anything which is related to the, application, that comes under the application domain. Like application boundaries and the interfaces allow for faster rollout, cleaner integration, and reuse the services. Now, fourth one, you have decided that we will go with the AWS or Kubernetes, load balancer, etc. Then middleware. Middleware is like your web servers, your Kafka, Redis for caching, network elements like VPC, private API, VPN, technology platforms like Linux, Node.js, Python, Postgres, runtime environment, Docker, serverless approach, cloud services. Right? So this comes under the technology. So high scalability, 99%, 99.9% uptime, and ability to roll out to the new regions in days, not weeks. Okay. So this is the example. So business in nutshell, business architecture. So a capability like delivery operations, processes like writer assignment. This is the business architecture. Data architecture, real-time data for orders, customer profiles, data quality governance. Right. So application architecture, modular apps like customer, restaurant, loyalty apps, technology, cloud, AWS, container, middleware, technology, etc. Okay, so I hope these four domains are clear to everyone. Now, let us talk about one more thing, which is basically the architecture states. Okay. So now what happens? Right. So now, basically what happens? So when we are defining the, whenever we are, defining the enterprise architecture, so we are basically also define the states. So in TOGAF standards, which differentiates 5 architecture states depending upon the uh, point in time or approval, right? So those things are dependent upon on these states like stakeholders. So the first point is we call it the baseline architecture. Baseline architecture. So in baseline architecture, that is basically we call it as the current state of the architecture, which serves as a reference for all the changes. So this is the current state. So for example, you are working in a project, or you started one project which is already developed. Right? So for you, whatever is the current state, you need to first know that. Okay. So for example, client is saying, yes, there is some problem into the existing design. So if you are having some problem in the existing design, then you need to rectify that issue. You need to change the design. But before that, you need to know what is the current state. Okay. So this is the means whenever so we call it is today. Okay. It's a today design. So whatever we are having uh, today, that is called the baseline architecture. Right? Now, this architecture is already approved. Okay, someone has approved it in the past, or maybe you have developed it and you get it approved. Okay. So now you uh, uh, you can decide the future of your architecture on the basis of this baseline state. Okay. So baseline describes the baseline is basically defined what we are having today, how the current state is acting as, so that you can decide the future of this application, which requires changes or which requires to remove some component. Okay. So same way, there are many transitional states. It could be one or more than one between baseline and the target architecture. So what is target architecture? Target architecture is your future. So there is one target architecture. So this is your future. So ultimately what you need to do, whatever you are having today and what will be in the future, which will be approved by someone. So now what we have, what we need to do, for example, you are running one application and your customer is saying, oh, there is some problem in that application. So you are saying, okay, we know what is the problem. Now we can provide you this solution. So that is the target solution. Okay. So now to reach from this baseline architecture to transitional architecture. So this target architecture. So we need the transition architecture, which is an architecture in the direction to achieve the target architecture. Okay. So it is mostly, so we are having the transition architecture. So now 3 state. First state is baseline, second is target, third is transition. Right? So It is basically transform from base line architecture to target architecture, right? So it uh, you can say it is the some steps which we need to follow, and we need to follow few things. See, whenever you are changing the, if it is a small change, I'm not talking about small change. I'm talking about a little bigger change. So in the bigger change, if we talk about, then you know you can take the steps, but those steps can be risky in the transitions, right? So that can be risky. That, or maybe some financial problem. So if you want to do a code change, if you want to implement into, for example, everything is on your on premises, you want to push it into the cloud-based environment, then finance comes into the picture. Strategy, right? So you need to change the strategy also. So there may be, it is not like that it is immediately you are changing it. So you can use the transition architecture when an incremental approach is required. Okay, incremental approach. Incremental approach is what? Incremental approach is that it's not complete change, or uh, it is it because see, if you make the changes, right? If you make the changes to the bigger target immediately, so there will be a risk. There could be something called financial, right? There could be some financial, things and strategy. You need to plan accordingly. So that is why it is meant. It is better choice. Your transition architecture, it should be incremental. Okay, so the transition architecture is fully functional future state, but it should be in the incremental way, so that partially you can check after a specific time that, okay, whether the uh, target uh, is achieved or not. Okay, so that is called the transition architecture, right? Now there is something called uh, rest or resting architecture. So that is another state, resting architecture. What is resting architecture? In this state, basically what we are doing, we are uh, we are saying, okay, these changes will be suspended for some time. Okay. So resting means not moving, right? So in this particular case, in the state of the resting architecture, what we are doing, we are saying that these activities are are in the rest or in the suspended mode. So we did not receive the approval. That could be one reason, or that is having some problem, that solution, right? That could be the reason that we are putting that part of the solution on rest, right? So ultimately, whatever the state you are having, right, to manage your flow, and you think that this application will not go into the production or any environment, then you can put it into the resting state, or we call the resting architecture. Then we are having something called candidate architecture. So this is the, for example, you are proposing one solution. So there is a baseline architecture. There is a target architecture. So, but you are proposing something which is for betterment of your project. So, for example, you are saying we will apply this security policy, but that is not a requirement at this moment. So, so this is the future state, and your stakeholder, they have not approved it. So that is called the candidate. So candidate means it may be required in future, but not approved. Okay. So so now we have discussed number one. Uh, we have discussed the baseline. I hope this is clear to everyone. This is the current state, approved state, right? Which is running in the production or which is live, right? Now, uh, second is the target state. So target state is the one which is basically you want that this is to be achieved. So customer is always looking for the change, right? So this is the target, which is the future and approved. Third is the transition state. So where you are deciding that how the transitions will happen. So that is the transition architecture state. It could be risky. It could be needs the financial attention. It needs the strategic attention and soon, right? So, uh, so that is why it is always preferable that we need to have the incremental approach. If the project change is big.
Sorry, Raman, quick question.
Yeah,
So this incremental approach, like at the end, your goal is a target architecture, right? So the
right.
incremental approach is it because of the the constraints, like or the complexity involved in achieving the target architecture? That's why we go
Right.
through transitioning
Right.
phases.
Right.
Is yeah, okay.
Yeah. So if
And the testing architecture, what I understood is it could be that the transitional architecture implementation is halted for some reason because of financial concern, like you
yes,
mentioned, or due to technology.
or maybe some error
Yeah.
in the application. Yes.
Yeah.
And future is candidate is the future which you are proposing, and that will be for the betterment of your application, but it is not approved by the stakeholders.
Because you can the target architecture, like that's the long term goal, or the long term objective for such a for EA, and this transition stages would be your short term objectives.
Yeah, yeah. So transition is yes, it will be step by step. Maybe you are you want to achieve. So target timeline is definitely uh, is more than the transition, because transition is in between. So you already have a project. For example, you want to uh, apply a security policy. Okay, you want to apply the this web access firewall. You want to apply multiple policies. You five policies you want to apply. So you are saying, okay, if I apply five policy in one shot, then what will happen? Customer will be confused, because if all the policies are applied in one shot, then customer will think, okay, why I'm getting this, why I'm getting this. So we will apply one policy at a time, and we will give some time to customer also, so that he or she will be familiar that, oh, there is this change. And so once he is comfortable with that change, then policy number two, then policy number three, then policy like that. And after a given time duration, right, you will apply all these policies. So because you when you want to achieve some target architecture, then you need to think a lot of points which are related to that, like it is, as I mentioned, the customer experience. It could be some network complexity. It could be, you know, certificate expiry, and so on.
Sorry, Raman. Just another question on transition architecture. So my first question is: do we really need it for every project, or it's only required when the project is being delivered in a phased using a phased approach? Like for example, if we are talking about shifting from the legacy CRM to Dynamics 365, for example, and it's a huge project, and instead of just going with a big bang kind of delivery approach, we go with the delivering it in a transition or phased approach. So do we only need it in that case? And also, can transition architecture be considered as a version of an architecture? Like it's a version which is fully functional at given point in time, and later few more things will be added as we move along, and then it will again have another version of the architecture which is also fully functional. And also from the project uh, timeline point of view, um, is it also considered as a milestone for a project? Like we have to deliver a certain transition architecture in certain amount of time, and then we move on.
Yes. So yes, very much required for the example which you have given, the legacy application to the modern way applications, right? So in that case, if you are the enterprise architect, right, so you need the transition phase. So you have heard, uh, that whenever you are uh, having a legacy to new or some migration process, right? So mostly this, what I'm defining these states, these are for the existing projects to the new new solution. And yeah, Amit, just 1 second. So it is mainly for the legacy to new or migration projects, right? So there transition is definitely required. If it is a new project, okay. So if it is a new project, then your initially baseline is 0 because it is new, right? So if you have done release 1, then release 1 becomes target, and next time whatever you want to change, this target becomes the baseline, and your target will be release 2, right? No? Yes, definitely we need all the justification for business, or you know the requirement phase, that why we need a target approach or target state. So when you are having all these things set, we definitely need the transition state. In transition state, because you cannot here what basically you are doing, you are having release 1, for example, earlier. Now you want to do a release, you actually need to have release 3 to release 5, for example. Right? So this is my target. So now what you are saying, my transition is release 1 to release 2, which is the transition 1. And there will be a timeline for that. And why I'm saying this is incremental, because ultimately we need to reach to this R5, but at this moment we are at R2, and we are testing it for example, in staging environment. Okay, you are checking in the staging environment. Release 2 is fine. Once release 2 is fine, then you are basically pushing it into the target framework, right? So here you are defining the timeline. That means you are defining the risk. You are saying, okay, if there is something goes wrong, maybe deployment is good, but logically there is something wrong. Rollback strategy you are defining, right? Everything you are defining uh, uh, means that ultimately it will go to the target framework only when you are deploy the solution. But everything the means the implementation and other things, you are designing it in this transition state only, right? Yeah. Anything related to transition state? Yeah, Mit.
Yeah, hi Raman. Sorry, again on the transition only. So as I understand, transition state would be more like an intermediate step to
Right.
achieve the target uh, architecture, which will be based on the strategic directions of the organization and coming from EA. Can there be scenario that transition architecture take is designed considering more of a tactical need rather than like just a bit deviating from strategic to the tactical side, or the transition architecture due to some changes, transition architecture become the target architecture itself, we do not proceed further and just stop there. Can these sort of scenarios happen?
So yeah, so as you mentioned, yes, this is an intermediate state, and this is the one uh, which is basically helps you to achieve the target state. Okay, so it is something like that. You are flying from, Australia to India, and you are saying in between you need to be transitioned into some other country, right? So now that is the other country which is in between, which is helping you to uh, if you are coming from Australia and you want to reach to India, so that is the stopping point. So they are saying, okay, we will do again security check, we will do again your maybe bag checks and other things, and then you can ready to you are coming from airline one, you need to go to now airline two. So uh, your bags and everything is from airline one, it will be transitioned to airline two, and then you can reach to your target. So transition state is basically it is technical only. Okay, it is technical only because you need to design the technical way, like legacy application, how it will become the cloud-based application. Migration, how migration one with or it means Sybase will be moving the data into the. So whatever you are designing, that is technical first of all, and second, that flow should be well tested. Testing and everything will be done under the transition state. And uh, you will be having different environments also. And as I mentioned, you will be having you need to set up a budget for that also because you are going to use the resources, you are going to use the infrastructure for that.
Right. Yeah, I think my question was more on the tactical side rather than technical. Like, can we go for some sort of tactical solutioning in transition states, uh, or it has to be aligned with the strategic solutions
No, no,
only?
as an enterprise architect, you will provide the strategy, and the technical solution will be provided by the technical teams, like a solution architect or someone else, right? So, for example, you are saying that means on-premises environment to cloud-based environment, right? So you will, as an enterprise architect, what you will do, you will define a strategy. You will set up a budget. Okay, for this we are having this budget, and what will be the risk factor. So that you will define as architecture, right? But now how it will be technically means how my virtual machines from on-premises, it will go to the cloud-based environment. For that, uh, means you take the, or you can collaborate with the solution architect, and he will propose the solution. Okay, this is how we are designing, how the virtual machine data will be moved, or VM images will be moved from on-premises environment to cloud-based environment.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. All right. So I think these four states are clear to uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states. Resting, candidate. So these are clear to all of you. Let us walk through it in our documentation. States. TOGAF recognizes the multiple architecture states to help enterprise architects manage the current, evolving, and future view of the enterprise. These states are used across architecture development method to define, govern, and transition architectures. So baseline, as I mentioned, as is means this is the current state of the enterprise, used as a starting point of your planning change. Resting architecture, so a stable and value generating state of the enterprise where the change is paused or complete. So means you are not changing that at all. So it could be the baseline or a transition architecture. Okay. Now, candidate architecture. This is a proposed future state, not yet formally reviewed or approved by the stakeholder, still exploratory. Right. Now, next one is the transition architecture. So, a planned intermediate future state that delivers partial capabilities on the path to the target architecture. And last one is the target architecture. So this is approved future state representing the long-term vision aligned with the strategy and stakeholder agreement. Right? So, so this is the a diagram where I am saying that baseline is that is the trigger point for to achieve the target architecture, right? And we are having the candidate architecture, transition architecture, and in transition architecture, there may be some more, states you can define by yourself. But these are the main one, which is the resting architecture. And then we are having the target architecture, right? So, what is resting architecture? Let's talk a little bit about that. A resting architecture is any approved and deployed architecture baseline or transitions, right? That delivers the business value and can be sustained without active change. So, in TOGAF point of view, it's often used in the multi-phase transformation. Transition architecture becomes the temporary or resting state, right? So, for example, uh, there is a pause. The client has mentioned, no, let's run with the whatever state we are having. So, in that case, your transition architecture becomes the rest in the resting state. Okay, uh, represents the state where the enterprise pause major architecture evolution but still function effectively. After phase one of the transformation or moving to microservices, the organization pauses further changes. So this is the example of the resting architecture. This deployed the transition architecture becomes the resting architecture until phase two begins. All right. So these are some, you know, examples like um, analogy. I'm using building a smart city. So baseline is the current city map, candidate, sketch for the future, and smart district. Transition, it's a smart traffic system deployed on one area. Okay. So first one area I will apply this smart traffic system, and then resting, city operates well with current system before next phase. So this is resting, and target full smart city with all the system and integrated and deployed. Anyone has any question related to this states?
So when you
So
say current state, current system, are we referring to the transition state in the
no,
rest
current
under the rest
system,
state?
current baseline.
Okay, baseline. Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else has any question?
Sorry if I missed it in the beginning. Will you be sharing these resources with us?
Yeah. So I will share again. This is a GitHub repository. Let me
Yeah.
share again. Hmm. I'm putting it on the chat. So here, foundation, basic information. That's the one. The second one is the 0. Okay. All right. So now let us talk about uh, the scoping the architecture. So scoping architecture. Okay. So uh, so basically we see that how to scope an architecture. So it is important to define and limit the scope of the architecture. And uh, whenever you are, see, customer wants everything, but whether we can provide in our means in the system design or not. So that is basically the scope. Okay. So this is an architecture before you start or develop a design, a solution, right? So there are 4 dimensions that are basically used to define and limit the scope of the architecture. So, uh, first scope is basically the enterprise scope. Okay. So first is the enterprise scope, or we call it breadth. Okay. So what it is, it means. See, this is the enterprise scope. Means enterprise, as I mentioned, it can be something your entire organization. It is a system with the shared goals. So you need to define this enterprise scope where you are saying what is the full extent of the enterprise. What part of the extent with will this architecting efforts deal with, right? So you need to define the enterprise scope first. You need to you need to ask first that whether this is in my enterprise scope or not. For example, your company is a supporting team for Microsoft Azure. Okay, you are a partner, technical partner. Okay, technical partner for the Microsoft related products. Now Microsoft website is down. You are providing the scope, you are providing how to create virtual machine if there is a problem, right? If there is a problem related to Azure technical stuff, but you are not responsible for the downtime of Microsoft application, like it happened once when entire airlines and banking system were down. So you're not responsible for that. Someone says, hey, I'm not able to see portal, Azure portal today. You say, okay, that I don't know what to do. Once you open it, then I can help it. So in the enterprise, you need to mention that what is the extent of your enterprise, right? So here, it could be in the enterprise, it could be the organizational unit, it could be the business units, it could be the departments. You are working for a particular department on. It may be related to process. Okay. So whenever we are talking about a scope, so scope is the architectural unit, or it is an activity, is mostly limited by the people, finance, objective, stakeholders, stakeholders concerned, right? And the organizational authority for the EAT, right? So we need to work in that particular scope only. You cannot, you are not spending money from your own pocket, right? So you are saying, okay, we will get that license, but companies is saying that we don't have a budget for that, and you are saying, okay, I will buy it from my own pocket. It is only $1,000. No, no, that will not work, right? So, so you need to work on a particular scope. So we call it the enterprise level. Enterprise is called the breadth, right? So you need to consider the entire enterprise scope. Second is called the level of details. Right. So this is called depth. Okay. So here you need to decide to what level of detail should be architecting efforts go. Okay. So for example, you are designing a solution. And when you are designing a solution or designing a system design, right? So at that time, you are saying, okay, we will send the email. We will send the email, right? But email provider is some, or SMS service provider is some third party. Okay. So do we need to, if customer says that I'm not able to receive the SMS, are we responsible for that? Do we need to design in such a way? Or customer is saying, okay, if service provider is not having some problem or issues, then if I don't receive that SMS, that is fine. So, or customer says, no, I need that. If one, I need to receive the SMS, whether you are using provider one, provider two, provider three. Okay, if provider one is not able to send the message, then it should be through provider two. But I need to receive the SMS. So these are the level of the detail. How much uh, efforts between the architecture and the system design and development. So that is called the level of details. So here you are basically deciding that how much effort are enough. Third one is the one which we have discussed, architecture domains. Data, business, application, and technology. So that also comes under the scope on. Next one is the time period. So in the time period or the deadline, you can say, this is called the planning horizon. So what is the time period that needs to be uh, that needs to be required for this architecture vision? Does it uh, practically possible? For example, they are saying you will be getting 2 months. Okay, maybe small project, and they are saying within 2 months you need to have this solution ready, right? So now whether it is possible or not, whether it makes sense 2 months, okay, to cover the detailed architectural descriptions. So that you will decide under the time period scope. Okay. So in scoping, we have discussed four things. One is enterprise scope, which is the breadth, where you are checking that what is the scope for the enterprise, which business unit, which organization unit, which department, which processes I need to follow. Second is the level of detail, which is called the depth. And here we are deciding that how much architecture is enough. Okay. And then architecture domains. And at the end, it is the time. Anyone has any question? Or
So, sorry, Ramana, with regards to depth, as in how much architecture is enough, how is there a how to kind of in that?
yes. So for example, as I was giving the example of SMS,
Yep.
right? So your customer wants that if there is a hardware failure or if there is job which is abandoned, I need immediate SMS so that my team take the action immediately. So now you are saying, okay, who will be the SMS provider? Because if you want us to provide, then we will have three third party SMS providers, and if the volume of data is high, then what we will do, we will just distribute it to these three vendors, and they will send it. Or customer says, no, no, I will provide the SMS. I don't have a budget for I have my sister concern, and they can basically provide this facility. Okay, if that's so in that case, your scope is now limited. So it
Yeah.
means if so now do I need to if there is a failure on the third party side, which is our SMS provider, will it come into my architecture design or not? I need to handle that kind of exception or not, right? Do I need to send some notification or some SLA I need to define with the customer on the basis of that?
Okay.
So you need to know the limit of your this scope. Yeah, yeah. Hamid,
Yeah,
you can.
yeah, sir. So I heard the term of architecture landscape. Is it something related to what we have been discussing now?
That will be discussing.
Oh, okay. It's not about breadth and depth or something. Or it's something
Yeah,
else.
it is related to that, but
Oh, okay.
we will discuss that in detail.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else has any question? Okay. So let us go to our documentation. So I just, I have created that documentation so that, because at this moment you are understanding, but you need a revision. So scoping architecture. So scoping, here you can see what will be architect, how deep should the architecture go, which domains are involved, for how long the architectures is valid. Okay. Excuse me. As I mentioned, enterprise scope. This is the size and the boundaries of the architecture effort. Examples means enterprise, entire enterprise, business unit, department, process, and questions. What questions you have, that which organization units are included? Are we focusing on all or just a part of the enterprise? Then level of detail, which how detailed should the architecture be? Balance between high level strategic view and the detailed system design. Avoid the over engineering, enough details to meet the stakeholder needs. Then we are having the architecture domain that we have already discussed. Then we are having the time period. So in the time period defines the time frame of the architecture covers. Could be short term, which is 1 year, middle, which is medium, which is 3 years, and long term, which is 5 years. It helps decide how detailed and how proactive architecture should be. Okay, so this is one diagram, right? So I hope this is clear to everyone. So I have one example. Yeah, one example also. So this is the case study. So same Foodigo application. So Foodigo is a startup aiming to disrupt the food delivery market by offering fast, personalized, and AI-driven meal delivery services. The company plans to develop an integrated architecture to support the rapid growth and scale efficiently. The enterprise architecture team is tasked to scoping the architecture efforts before beginning the detailed design and development. So first, what will be the enterprise scope for this? What part of the Foodigo will, so this will be your question, right, to the business, that what part of Foodigo will go to this architecture effort cover? Entire, like means it is delivering to maybe entire country or a particular area or business unit, or it is a department, zoom in on order processing department, okay, or it is only for the uh, order tracking and delivery scheduling processes. Or we need to design only order tracking and delivery scheduling. So choosing the scope, the architecture effort will cover the delivery operation units, and including the order processing, courier engage management, delivery tracking. Okay, this allows focused but broad enough scope to improve the core value of the delivery function. Now you know that where I need to, what will be the scope of my this foodie fast application. I need to do the order processing for delivery operation unit. So it means this is my enterprise scope. Okay. So here I need to provide these services. Right. Now, next level of detail. So how detailed should be architecture be? So here you are saying that level is high level strategy. Define the business capabilities, major systems like order management, delivery, scheduling. So we need to manage this. And we need to define the interfaces, which is under the medium detail, right? That application interface, data flow, order management. So you can get, so it totally depends upon, what kind of uh, application you need to develop. So you are basically defining the scope of your application now. Here, define the specific APIs, data schema, and deployment requirement. So choose a medium details out of this, enough to design the major application and integration while leaving the detailed system design for later phases. Architectural domain, you can decide, right, which I need to use, business or domain, data or application or technology. Then we need for 1 year. So for example, this is for 3 years. So medium term, 3 years to allow to phased roll out the capability and the future scalability. Okay, so right. So this is all about the different scope, uh, detail, and architectural domains and type. All right. Next one is state. Now, scoping the architecture that we have discussed. Sorry, architecture levels. Okay. So let us talk about that. Right. So here, right. So architecture level. So, right. So here, see, whenever you are designing a system, you need to know what strategy I need to use, which segment I need to use, what is the capability of my architecture. So, so here, basically, we are defining the breadth, and we are defining the levels. Right? And this is called, that is what Ami was asking, this is called architecture landscape. It is also including the time period also. Okay. So these entire, it is called architecture landscape. Okay. So what it provides? It provides you a framework for change and operation uh, how you can use this landscape. Okay. So what it is providing, and a framework, right, which you need for change. Means, for example, um, you are designing something, right? So you have designed one enterprise system, one project, and now whether you have keep some space for the new changes, whether you are having uh, something for operation related things. Okay, so that we can define in different levels. Okay, so this architecture landscape, so this is called architecture landscape, and this architecture landscape is having three things. Number one is the uh, strategic architecture. Okay, strategic architecture. So what it is doing? So it is basically supporting the direction uh, of the execution level. Okay, so what it is supporting? It basically support direction to set up the uh, to uh, to set up at execution level. My handwriting is not good. Okay, but you just we will have a separate documentation for this. Okay, so what we are defining here. So um, now we are having the strategy, and that strategy is basically for entire enterprise. Okay, so as I mentioned that whenever you are defining the solution, you need to basically give a space for the future changes or to accommodate that a change. For example, you are saying I'm having it database table, right? And that database table is that database table. Tomorrow I need one more column, okay, for some other purpose. So do we need to go to the database and change and add column? Means that is a better solution, or you already have some separated, means some additional columns which you can use it so that in future you can use it, right? So minimal change at the I'll give you one example. So for example, there is one application running, web application is running, and that application uh, is going to insert a record into a table, right? So now that database code you have written in the web application, or you have used a different approach that you have created a stored procedure into your database so that if tomorrow any change is required, you will make that change on the database level without shutting down your application or without re-implementing your application. So application logic is separate, database logic is separate, and that database logic is handled on a database level, on MySQL level. So that approach is basically give you a scope that tomorrow, if you want to change something on the database level, you can directly do it on the stored procedure level instead of changing it on the application level, because application you need to re-implement it. When you re-implement it, you may have the shutdown or downtime for that, right? So the strategic architecture, it covers a large breadth, meaning it covers the entire enterprise. Okay, that strategy is basically your uh, enterprise level strategy. Okay, so here we are talking about the entire um entire enterprise, right? Second type is segment architecture. So in segment, basically what we are doing, so we are basically supporting the direction settings and the development of the architecture on a mm, on a portfolio level, or you can say at a program, right? So means the broader way is the enterprise, right? Now we go in deep now. We are saying on level 1, which is the segment architecture. So if you want to provide an operational or uh, the other changes, means application changes, right? Then we how we can do this, what is the change level, so that comes under the segment architecture. So this is a big design, means entire system design. This is a program design, operation support design. So that is the segment architecture. Okay. And third one is again, which is the capability architecture. Okay. So this is covering uh, a particular capability, like department 1 only. Okay, it is not covering everything, but it is a particular uh, change framework or development uh, architecture for a particular capability for a particular time. Okay, so this is basically, if I talk about, this, I have one diagram. Let me just go to that diagram. That will be easy to understand.
Raman, can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on all these levels, right, from strategic to segment to capability, in what phases? I know EA will be involved in all the phases, but in how many phases solution architects will be involved? Like when we have more of a technical discussion or
So
technical aspects to cover.
So his major time is on the enterprise strategy, right? Where he is designing the entire end-to-end solution. So for example, migration project. So he's from how the migration strategy will work, what are the different components. So his major time will be on the enterprise strategic part. Then, for other parts like segment or capability, the other teams are also involved, right? So uh, then, for example, segment strategy. So he can talk to the uh, cloud engineers or other engineers by saying that, okay, uh, what kind of development we can do, what could be the deployment strategy. So there he can take, means he is getting involved, but most of the work is done by the solution architect or the other technical teams. And the capability also means you are defining a support model for that particular department, but you are defining, but enterprise architect definitely get involved, but you know the major is in the enterprise strategy only. All right, so let us walk through this. So TOGAF organizes the enterprise architect landscape in 3 levels of granularity to help the manage complexity and change effectively. So each level have different scope and audience and supports the all enterprise transformation. So this is the diagram which I have taken from the TOGAF only. Okay, so this you can see the enterprise strategy and the segment and the capability architecture. So strategic architecture purpose is that high level direction and vision for the entire enterprise. It defines the long-term objective, guiding principles, key business principles. So that is what we are defining in the strategy. So we are defining the scope, we are defining the, you know, who will be involved. See, these are the audience, right? So business leaders, senior executive, board members, right? And output the enterprise-wide architectural vision, principle, and strategic roadmap. And in the examples, you are deciding to become a digital first bank in next 5 years, investing in cloud AI mobile banking. So this will be a strategy. So that comes under the strategic design architecture. Now purpose, second one is the segment. The purpose is break down your strategic architecture into the manageable parts we call segment, aligned to the business unit domain, right? So you are having one domain for, you know, maybe for deployment, one for application development, one for this, right? So its scope is to focused on the specific business segment such as retail banking, loans, okay, because it's a particular part of that particular, you know, strategy enterprise. Audience, program manager, architects, business leaders responsible for that segment. Output, the detailed architecture and roadmap for the segment that aligns to the strategic goal. So uh, main is the strategic goal, and now we are moving inside the domain. It's a domain in the sense the segments of that. Example, developing an architecture roadmap for retail banking segment to implement mobile check deposit and digital loan approval. Third is the capability. This is focuses on the specific capabilities or technologies component required to deliver incremental business role, supports the development and implementation of solution that realizes parts of the segment architecture. Okay. So for example, so this is further, right? Means in a segment, you are having particular department where you need to work on. So that is the capability architecture. So who will be involved in this? It will be solution architect, project teams, team leads, right? So, so you are developing application for loan application, right? So that will comes under the capability architecture. So example, designing the architecture for new AI-based fraud detection system as a part of the banking segment's digital transformation. So this table is basically how they work together. So for example, strategic enterprise-wide vision, scope is enterprise, audience, board members, executives. Right? Example, digital first transformation plan. Segment, you have the different business units, right? Scope is business units or business segments or domain. And like retail banking, mobile app, capability, which is the specific capability or solution, project or capability. Solution architects, dev teams as the audience. For example, we are developing AI fraud detection system application. Okay, so this is for, you know, once you read that, it is just a quick look on this. Okay, so this is the example. So that Foodigo application. So senior leader decide Foodigo will. So this is the strategic architecture. So senior leaders decide Foodigo will lead the market by offering the fastest delivery service. So this is a strategy. They prioritize the investing in cloud infrastructure and AI for better routing, set overall digital transformation goals and guiding the
The
principle.
screen sharing is not coming up. Sorry, it's for me only or for everyone?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, now it is on.
Sorry. It was in the pause mode. Okay. So this is the, this is the strategic architecture. Now, segment architecture. So Archi means now we are having the Foodigo application. Now this Foodigo application architecture team focuses on the delivery and logistic part. So this is a segment. They create a roadmap to launch a courier mobile application and integrate with AI routing. So this segment architecture aligns with the strategic goals, but scoped to delivery operations. Now, third one is the application level. Then further, that is the capability. Solution architects design the AI routing system and feature for courier app. Then next is these architectures detailed how build, deploy, and integrate these components. They focus on delivering incremental value by improving the route efficiency and delivery updates. So this documentation is with you now. So tomorrow we will be talking about the partitioning. We'll be talking about abstraction level. We're talking about the building block, TOGAF standard, and there are so many other things. And I will also set up some quizzes where it will have the real-time questions. So you can try those, right? And tomorrow I will give some assignment also to you so that you you can try in your weekdays. And if you have any question, then we will discuss. I think that's it for today. Anyone has any question?
So you said you will give the assignment through what?
Tomorrow, yeah. I will share tomorrow some assignment.
Okay. No, do we have a common communication, like WhatsApp group, or we just communicate through this class, basically?
You guys, if you want, I don't know. I don't have any problem.
Okay. I mean, I'll leave.
So if you want to create or your group, WhatsApp group is not created.
No.
Okay, let me
just
check.
asking. Yeah. Okay.
Let me check with those people, right? Organizers. So tomorrow we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.